Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. 2 races remain in the Season 5 regular season, and we take on Chicagoland today and the Daytona regular season finale next episode. Chase Purdy in the field for Andretti Global this weekend, as well as a 4th Junior Motorsports Cadillac with Justin Allgaier. We actually have some special colors on our car this weekend. We have the all-new Cars 4 paint scheme on our number 8 JRM Cadillac. The movie releasing in the timeline, 2027? Will we actually get that IRL? Probably not, but never say never. Sanok whipped up a really cool paint scheme. We continue to watch the playoff picture shape up as Kyle Larson is out for his 5th consecutive race with injury. However, potential, he could be back in Daytona. However, we know the magic number, 619. Carson Hocevar, the first one behind Kyle Larson, who's now the last one in on points, is within striking distance depending on how he performs today. So it's going to be interesting, and we are as well ourselves in a tight regular season championship battle with former teammate and defending champ Christopher Bell. Of course, we just picked up our 4th win of the season in quite dramatic fashion last episode at home in Canada, and now we're coming up on these final 2 races of this regular season with a very high confidence now, as this is going to be a thrilling ending to this regular season one way or another. A regular season battle, the playoff battle between Larson and maybe some new winners as well. Don't rule out Chase Elliott. I mean, there is real potential Chase Elliott could also miss the playoffs. He has had a bit of a rough summer stretch as he looks to change things around today as we get ready to qualify in this target number 8. But this race is going to set the stage for that Daytona regular season finale and the situation that everyone's going to go in there with now. And Chicago is not a great racetrack for me, so I am low-key expecting Christopher Bell to make some good headway in on me today, unfortunately, but we're going to make the most of it. What a season, of course, it has been, but nonetheless, rolling through 3 out of turn 4 down the front straightaway with a goal of a 30.705. We're off by about a tenth at 30.838, putting us P21 for the Camping World 400. Not exactly where we want to be, but you see SVG there in 25th. On pole, it's Christopher Bell. Front row as well, including Rajah Caruth, Chastain, Corey Day, and Nora Gregson there in P5. So how about Corey Day substituting for Kyle Larson? This could be his last race in that 5 car if Larson is, of course, cleared to race next episode in the Daytona regular season finale. The only way that Hendrick would put Larson in the car at Daytona coming off of an injury is if they think there's a real chance they can keep him in the playoffs. Now, Amazon Prime, Chase Purdy wins in Chicago and, of course, is making his cup start here with Andretti Global. There is some rumors that he could be potentially lined up for a Trackhouse Cup ride next season. Of course, he races for Trackhouse's 2nd car here in Amazon Prime, so we'll stay tuned on that as news continues to come out. Let's get ready to go racing in Chicago.
2 races remain in the regular season. Carson Hocevar has the chance to reel in Kyle Larson today to fight for that final spot in the playoffs. What does he need to do today, Steve?
Just run a clean race is what he needs. Everything should fall into place for Daytona.
This is not going to be an easy race, and it's kind of a damage control race in terms of the points against that guy. Christopher Bell, Justin Haley with the unapproved body modification during qualifying. The RFK driver goes to the back. Chandler Smith to the back as well, replacing transmission. Your Dover winner, locked already, of course, in the playoffs, will start from the rear of the field. So we move up to P20 now. 1 extra spot gain due to those drivers going to the back as a green flag is out, and the penultimate race of the regular season in Season 5 kicks off here from Chicago. Christopher Bell set to lead the field on the run into turn 1 alongside the Hendrick Motorsports driver of Rajah Caruth, who was oh so strong early in the season, picked up the win in Martinsville, and then has kind of faded ever since. Now as we exit turn 2 side by side with the RFK 17, Chris Buescher, must-win scenario for him and all of his teammates to make the playoffs. It's looking very likely, almost guaranteed right now, outside of Daytona, that it is going to be no RFK drivers in the playoffs, which has never happened in the career mode before. So really unfortunate, because it's not like they've been way off. It's just simply the fact that we've had so many different winners. I mean, Chase Briscoe should be in the playoffs. Chris Buescher should at least be in the conversation. Christian Eckes has had an okay season, but of course had the injury that took him out for a few races. Justin Haley, of course, has been a bit lacking. We know he's likely on his way out at RFK following this season. There was rumors he might lose his ride before the season even comes to an end, but it seems like they are just going to keep him on board to finish out season 5. Nonetheless, for me, we start lap 4, and we're kind of engulfed in this tight traffic, and look at the lead. It's the 5 car. Corey Day substituting for the injured Kyle Larson. We've seen his running position improve every race that he's done, and of course had some issues. Of course, in Canada didn't quite work out for him, but the race before he ran pretty well and then had some mechanical problems. But now Corey Day is fighting for the lead here in Chicago, as I am not. I'm going backwards. Logano going through. Shane Van Gisbergen as well, who of course is certainly not going to be happy with how I raced him last episode in Canada and his must-win scenario to make the playoffs in his final season of full-time competition in the NASCAR Cup Series. And now you can see we jumped to 24th behind the Andretti Global driver of Nick Sanchez, as Corey Day continues to lead this race. But we would jump down to the inside. Look at my mirror. Ross Chastain, we had passed him. He had started well inside the top 10, and he was now outside the top 20. He had dropped like a rock now, as we're 4 wide into turn 1. Logano as well. There's William Sawalich trying to go forward, and Chandler Smith, who started in the back, is right here with me now as well in that Yahoo Toyota Camry. So watch out for him, as we still don't have confirmation who's out at Joe Gibbs Racing as well going into next season. We know Jesse Love is going over there, and Ty Gibbs is right now not going to make the playoffs without a win. So, and all his teammates, Chandler Smith, Christopher Bell, of course, they are all locked into the playoffs without any problems, Alex Bowman included. So you have to wonder what the situation is there, but we know the likely scenario is Chandler Smith is going to be out of a ride following this season, and he is likely looking at potential rides going into season 6. New leader, the 45 of Tyler Reddick, 2 wins on the season, but it goes right back to the 5 car just like that, and it was swamping all around, because then moments later Ryan Blaney in the 23 takes the lead of this race. Blaney just picking up his first win recently there at the Brickyard. I really think we're going to see a late season hard charge from a driver that has ran strong all season long, but just struggled to find victory lanes. So many throwaways. I mean, just quite simply chokes by that 23 team now as we're working up our way through this grid. And this car really excels on the long run. I was paying attention to lap times, and on the longer runs, after about 10 to 15 laps, my pace was nearly dead even with the leaders here. So we've got good long run pace, but our short run pace suffers so much that we don't have enough time to make up for it. So the odds of us winning today are quite low, but you never know, of course, with how this season is played out, with all the different winners we've had. Never say never. As we're running down our teammate of Carson Hocevar, of course, he is looking for stage points now to close that gap to Kyle Larson in the playoff battle, but that's just not happening right now, and we're going to pass this number 4 into turn 3. The 5 car of Corey Day back to the lead of this race. What a story it would be for Corey Day if he wins a Cup race in his 5th start, and of course the best car in the Cup Series it is, and Corey Day is certainly a talent and potential future Cup Series driver in real life, but definitely would still be surprising to see him pick a win in only race 5 of his Cup Series career now, as we're going to go 4 wide through the tri-oval now with Hendrick Motorsports, Caruth Byron, former Hendrick driver, current for Joe Gibbs Racing, of course, Alex Bowman. We'll pass them all, enter the top 10 as we now start to flirt with some green flag pit stops here, as we will start to see everybody trickle in, including the 5 of Corday, Shane Van Gisbergen, who's been working his way forward in that 97. He was inside the top 10. He is looking very quick, as we'll pit a lap later with Christopher Bell, as well as Chase Elliott. There's Connor Zillage right there in front of us, having a strong run as well. He's really probably the most consistent running driver, I feel like, at Trackhouse this season, as we're making some adjustments to loosen up this car a little bit. That was my problem on the short run. So we'll come in, we'll get 4 Goodyear standard tires. Right side's on, left side's on. It's going to be a 15-2. We'll get rolling, and we actually are going to leapfrog some drivers. We pass 3 drivers, Gibbs, Elliott, as well as Zillage. So a huge pit stop from this number 8 Junior Motorsports pit crew. It's likely going to be either the 23.5 or 45 that come out the leader of this race now, as here comes Shane Van Gisbergen. We dropped down to P9 just like that, and it wasn't long until we actually cycled through eventually into P6 after everyone makes their pit stop. So, however, you can see the pressure I'm under on this short run with only a few laps to go on the stage. Corey Day leads now, and here goes Noah Gregson, who appears to be maybe the quickest Junior Motorsports Cadillac today. How about this? A must-win scenario for him as Gregson takes P6 as Gibbs will go through, and so will Zillage, and you can see we just don't have the speed on the short run. And here comes Chase Elliott now. He is pressuring me for the 9th position. Kyle Larson seeing Corey Day leading in his car. Well, hold on. Shane Van Gisbergen loses a tire, spinning through the infield. Caution flies, and it will end stage 1. Corey Day substituting in that 5 wins the first stage. A playoff point that will not go to Kyle Larson if Larson ends up in the playoffs. Shane Van Gisbergen still gets credited with 5th somehow. We will still see him in the race. He is not done, but he's going to have to spend some extra time in the pits to repair that car. So we're going to make some more adjustments, but stage points, I was quite happy with that compared to where we were earlier in the stage. How about this? Some drivers stay out, including Alex Bowman. SVG gives up 10 spots now, as we'll be on the outside of this 0-0 of Zillage. Stage 2 underway, and that 5 of Corey Day appearing to be maybe the favorite today. 29 laps of racing in stage number 2, as we got a mirror full of William Sawalich showing up. We've seen that Legacy Motor Club number 43 show up a few times this season. Looks like they're in the conversation today as well. Now we'll go 3 wide to the outside of the 88 of Gregson, following the 23 of Blaney on the run into turn 3. Christopher Bell in the middle. He picked up more points than us there on the stage, closing that regular season championship battle. There's Rick Ware's 15, Josh Berry in the way as we head through this tri-oval. One of the drivers that remained on the racetrack now as we continue 3 wide into turn number 1. Bowman, how about that? That 19 hangs on to the lead. A great restart for that 19 car, looking for his 2nd win on the season, but Corey Day has gotten through into P2 and is looking for the lead as we head down this back straightaway into turn 3. Day back to the front and in control here from Chicago, as they're now, unfortunately, everyone's taking advantage of me being on the outside here. We finally get down to the inside. We'll force it 4 through the tri-oval. Only lap 3 of the stage, but gotta get aggressive, gotta make up what you can. There's Bell going around the outside of the Andretti Global driver of Bubba Wallace. I think we all expected a better season out of Bubba Wallace. Now, we know Andretti Global isn't the best team. They're a midfield team, but I expected more out of the 28. We just haven't quite seen it now as we continue side by side here into turn 3. Gregson's going to just kind of blow my doors off in reality as we do kind of hang at his quarter panel, but he eventually gets clear. And now here was Shane Van Gisbergen now coming through as I'm going to dive to the inside. There's Kyle Busch, your Pocono winner. By surprise, of course, that win was as Tyler Reddick goes back to the lead. Tyler Reddick, I mean, we talked about it. What a story there. I mean, he signs a deal with Trackhouse, and just a race or 2 before things start to take off for him. He's won now 2 races again with 2311 after going winless last season, and now he's going to a team that has been increasing in rumors that they're going in the wrong direction leading into next season. And we have now seen some rumors as well of Connor Zillage potentially leaving and is in conversation with our team owner of Dale Earnhardt Jr. There's a lot of changing dynamics going on here in this team. And as well, I mean, another rumor I've been hearing is Carson Hocevar might have a very nice offer coming his way from another team as well that he is seriously considering after just 2 seasons here with Junior Motorsports. So there is a lot shaking up for Season 6 here, the final season of the career mode, that we really need to pay attention to as we continue to grind our way forward. There's Alex Bowman. He's held on fairly well after staying out at the end of Stage 1. He continues in P11 right there with his teammate of Chandler Smith, as well as William Byron, your Road America winner, right there in front of him as we would run these drivers all down. And now Corey Day back to the lead of this race as we're 3 wide middle, just barely, as we'll back out of it, get back in behind that Ally Financial 19 through 1, actually clipping the apron. Look at Sawallich. He was right behind us to start stage 2. 16 laps later, he's still right behind me now as we're 3 wide with the 24 and the 18 into turn 3. This will put us back into the top 10. So, I mean, we're spending, about 15 laps trying to get back up into the mix. And then as soon as that happens, you see Bowman's into the pits. Of course, he and the guys that stayed out at the end of stage 1 have to pit a couple laps earlier, but everybody else is about to come into the pit lane, including myself. I did want to push this run fairly far as I could, so we're going to stay out a little bit longer than some of these guys. Well, I believe that's Corey Day. Yeah, Corey Day into the pits, but I mean, he is putting himself in prime position to potentially win this stage and this overall race. Now Chase Elliott all the way to the outside. We go right down to the white line just about now. We'll be nearly clear on the exit at 2. I definitely could have slid the nose, but I didn't need to because we would clear him anyway. But he pits Zilich, SVG, who's continuing to go forward. Ty Gibbs, they all pit, and we are going to cycle through into P3, and now it's time for us to come into the pits as well. The fuel light's on. Let's get in. Reddick's going to come in from the lead as well, and now we will come up behind Christopher Bell. Look at the ground we gain on the DeWalt number 20 Toyota Camry. We'll come in for 4 tires, and again I loosened up the car a little bit. I've just kind of been loosening it up as this race goes on because we definitely need it for especially the short run. Nonetheless, a great pit stop. We're going to be right there head to head with Christopher Bell. We get out in front of him, so once again leapfrogging some drivers here in the pits. We'll pass the 20. There goes Ty Gibbs breezing by me on the outside on the surface, and we'll see some more cars coming up behind us, including Alex Bowman. I believe that's Shane Van Gisbergen as well for Trackhouse going by on the outside, and here comes Chase Elliott and Connor Zilich as well. This will drop us down to P10, but more drivers still in the pits, including the 22 of Joey Logano. 2 wins on the season for Logano, locked into the playoffs. He is excited to put in a playoff run now as we lose the spot to Bell, dropping officially down to 10th after this pit cycle has run its course. Corey Day still out in front, but to my surprise, my pace just was not there. We've struggled on the short run, but whatever adjustments I just made, it felt like I was even worse on the short run. So Wallach blew my doors off, and he drove away, and I was just hanging on here for the final few laps. A bit surprised because I didn't make like a big swing at the car. I only made basically a few clicks on tire pressure, as well as a few clicks to loosen it up on the wedge, and we do run down the 19 of Alex Bowman here, who is, of course, on a few lap older tires, but look at that group of cars up there. Some lap traffic coming to the final lap of stage 2 is going to make things interesting. Back into the top 10 as we pass the 31 of Brent Cruz, Sammy Smith right there in front of us for Andretti Global. Corey Day is already through 3 and 4 as we get into the back of Sammy Smith. Was not ready for him to be that slow off the corners. We'll go 3 wide with him and Eric Jones, but Corey Day wins stage 2. He sweeps the 2 stages. Blaney, Reddick 2nd and 3rd. As we exit turn 4, it's still going to be P10. Zilich drops to 9th to the line. Another stage point, but again, losing out on points to the number 20 of Christopher Bell. So Wallach in P8, what a drive right there from the 43. But Bell in P5 just gained another 6 points on us. SVG, Elliott there 7th and 6th. So things are looking interesting. Don't rule out Shane Van Gisbergen. He's got some serious speed. I think he just needs a bit of help for things to play out in his way. But Toyota 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th right there. They've been looking really strong recently. And we saw Toyota as a whole last season when we switched to the new body really improve towards the playoffs. It seems like we're seeing that again, but is it too little too late for Ty Gibbs in the 54? Only time will tell. He doesn't want to go into Daytona having to win. He wants to get that win right here, but I think you're going to have to go through Corey Day and Tyler Reddick for specifics. If you want to beat anybody, it's those 2 guys that you're going to have to focus on to win this race. So Wallach forces it 3 wide on Chase Elliott. We just talked about Toyota as a whole. I mean, look at Legacy Motor Club running top 10. Of course, single file or single car team this season, downgrading from 2 cars with John Hunter Nemechek going back to the Amazon Prime Series as we wash up the racetrack through 3. Tyler Reddick leads now. Corey Day is on the outside going backwards now. Is this where he loses control of this race here from Chicagoland? 33 laps of racing to go. 3 wide behind, including my teammate of Hocevar, the 48 of Karuth, and the 98 now, and they split us. We're now stuck in the middle, 3 wide as we exit turn 2. Briscoe on the inside, Hocevar on the outside. As we head down into turn 3, we clear the 98, and we'll be able to kind of settle in now in about this 13th position as we continue to watch Tyler Reddick in control of this race now, as we get now cleared by the 4 and as well the 98 going back to my inside as I made a bit of a slip up there. So now we kind of fade back a little bit. Here comes Joey Logano as well. I look at my mirror, there's Nick Sanchez, Byron, Karuth all coming up the order here. So once again, every restart we have kind of dropped, you know, from about a 10th to 9th to 8th all the way down to like a 16th, 17th. It's just not been our day, to say the least. It's been quite frustrating, but yeah, down to P16 as they continue to fight for the lead up front in this race now, as we're just trying to hang on to a mid-teen running position as we dive it off into turn 3 of the inside of the Shell Pennzoil Ford Mustang Penske driver. Speaking of Penske, Zane Smith blows the right front into the outside wall. Caution flies. We cannot make it from here. Everybody will stay out. Shane Van Gisbergen into the conversation, up to second. If you are Chase Elliott, you are just begging for no new winner today, because then you know if there's no new winner today, at least one will make it on points into the playoffs, and it's basically impossible for Larson or Hocevar to be able to beat that 9 car on points depending on how today goes. And Elliott is putting together a good enough race. So Elliott's hoping no new winner today to solidify his spot in the playoffs as we head down into turn 1. It has been a surprising season from Chase Elliott. He, of course, has been accustomed to winning 3, 4, sometimes 5 races a season throughout this career mode. And here he is at race, 23 or whatever, and he has not won. Elliott is winless all season long and has found himself in this really stressful situation with the playoffs now as Tyler Reddick leads the way on this restart now. 26 to go. We clear the 22 to the inside of Briscoe, back into 14th now behind my teammate of Carson Hocevar, and it's Christopher Bell now up into P2. SVG drops to 4th behind Corey Day, who slips through into P3 as they give a shot to the back of Hocevar to give him a push into turn 1. He loses the rear end and slides into turn 1. Is a move of trying to help my teammate, a move that's going to lose him a few spots and points that maybe even keeps him out of the playoffs against Kyle Larson going into next week at Daytona. I really hope I just didn't screw over my teammate's chances as Christopher Bell takes the lead, but I was really surprised to see his car jump out of shape like that, because I gave him a shot, you know, just past the start-finish line. It wasn't like it was into the corner, and he still lost control as we're battling with Sanchez as well as all of these guys in the mid-teens. We just cannot escape this kind of mess on these restarts now as we're back into 16th, and we continue to now focus on going forward. My head-to-head battler for this regular season championship, Bell, was leading down to second. Shane Van Gisbergen in the 97 WeatherTech Honda Civic for Trackhouse Racing, the only driver for that team not in the playoffs and without a win, takes the lead with just over 20 to go. But we know there's another pit stop on the way, so that of course is going to be a variable to watch out for. Now as I look to the inside of Hocevar, looking for 13th, just a handful of laps after the contact we had that sent him nearly crashing. He of course is not going to make this easy, but we nonetheless get clear on the exit of turn 2. P13 with just over 20 to go. Pit stops not far away, but new leader SVG drops back to second as Ryan Blaney takes the lead of this race. I think Corey Day is going to need a bit of help, either a really clutch green flag pit stop or a caution of some sort. He currently runs in 5th as we are now up the inside of the 88 of Gregson. Expected to see him running a little bit better late in this race, but now he will drop to P13 as we take P12 as we come up towards the final 15 laps here. And Ryan Blaney is back in control here from Chicago. Can he get win number 2? Looking to get maybe 5 more playoff points just before the playoffs. Every single playoff point is so important, and that's why we're fighting so hard to maintain control of this regular season championship. Elliott side by side with Ty Gibbs as we exit turn 2, heading down this back straightaway. We'll go 3 wide with the pair of these drivers now and try to get ourselves into the top 10. Elliott's okay with Ryan Blaney in just the current situation right now. If Blaney wins, Elliott's in great shape to make the playoffs as I actually slide up into the door of the 9. He uses up the 54 as I kind of pushed him into it, but we all get through there clean. Into P10 to the back of the 19 of Bowman. I'm hoping this goes green to the end because it's just going to benefit me the most. Of course, we know we're going to have a short run because we got to pit net. The absolute maximum we can hang out on this track is for another 4 laps, but it's not going to matter. Out of turn 2, the 48 goes spinning. Carruth into the infield. Caution is out, and that will bring everybody into the pits for a late race restart and a late race pit stop. And I'm going to be looking at 4 tires here. I feel like is going to be the way to go. The left sides are down to nearly 60%. With another about probably 12 laps of racing, I would rather restart on 4 tires. Fortunately for me, everybody agrees. We move up to P8, a good pit stop to put us on row 4. Corey Day, they're lining up behind SVG as the green flag is out. Ryan Blaney leads the field back to green. It's a bit of a slow launch off the grid for myself here with 11 laps to go. How about Chandler Smith into the top 10 after starting at the back after, of course, I believe it was a suspension issue or engine issue they had to of course, fix going into this race as we exit turn 2, cleared by the 9. Ty Gibbs to my inside, your season 3 champion, now coming to just terms with the reality that if he doesn't win today, he's got a super low chance of making the playoffs, and I just don't see that speed out of the 54. We're 3 wide, and again, that short run speed that's been lacking is going to really hit hard here as we only have 10 laps to go. By the time this car really starts to fire off, the race is going to be ending. Corey Day to P3, SVG to P2 behind Ryan Blaney as I kind of chopped the nose right there on my teammate of Gregson. We'll fire one back to the inside of the 22, who doesn't leave us a lot of room. SVG jumped up to the outside, opening the door for Corey Day to get up to P2. We said he needed a caution probably to get himself back into the conversation, and he got that caution. Corey Day into second position. Can he do it? Can he get the win here over Ryan Blaney? As we exit 2 now on lap 86, Noah Gregson to my left rear as we head down this back straightaway into turn 3. He's going to clear us rolling through 3, and unfortunately, that opens the door now for the 22 of Joey Logano as we head down this front straightaway. And again, we just don't have anything on these short runs. We are just hanging on. It's all about survival with 7 laps to go here in this race, and it's going to be a 2-driver face-off. Ryan Blaney, Corey Day, his 5th race of his NASCAR Cup Series career, and he has a chance to fight for a win as we continue in this battle for 15th with Joey Logano. Christopher Bell up inside the top 10, gaining some serious points on us today. There's nothing we can do about that now. Carson Hocevar looking for every point he can get as well, because we know that magic number for Kyle Larson, 619. Who will get the final spot in the playoffs? Will Larson return to racing next week in Daytona? That's the big question, and we won't know until Daytona as we eventually get clear and drive away from Logano and now run down William Byron with 4 coming to 3 laps to go. Now Gregson into 13th. Hocevar runs up there in front of us in P12. JRM for the full-time cars right now in 12th, 13th, and 15th, looking for 14th. Our teammate of Justin Allgaier, important to note, he's out of the race, and I completely forgot to note Chastain as well had a mechanical issue that took him out of this race early on as well. So him and Allgaier out of this race. 2 laps to go. 12th, 13th, 14th now for Junior Motorsports. Now as we get to the left rear and alongside the 88 Bass Pro Shops Cadillac of Noah Gregson. This will put us through into P13 as Ryan Blaney leads off of turn 4, but he's got a mirror full of a hungry to win rookie Corey Day. White flag is in the air. Who's going to get back to the line first? Blaney leads the way down into turn number 1, but he's up a groove. Reddick into the conversation as well. Here comes the number 5. Now the door's wide open. Blaney leaves it open for Corey Day to get to the inside down the back straightaway. Who's going to get back here first? Into 3 and 4 for the final time. Corey Day in his 5th start to the inside. Car number 5, start number 5, leads in the tri-oval by half a car length, full car length. Corey Day is a NASCAR Cup Series winner. Can you believe it? As we cross the stripe to finish just inside the top 15, and the 5 car for the first time this season wins, but it's not with Kyle Larson, and that will not change anything with the playoff picture for that car, as now there is going to be a decision needed to be made for multiple reasons. What does the future look like for Corey Day, who just proved you put him in a top car, he can win? And now, of course, does Hendrick bring back Kyle Larson in the playoff window in the situation they find themselves in? The regular season championship battle has condensed. I have lost points to Christopher Bell, who has closed the gap just to 13 points going into the Daytona regular season finale. We know the magic number for Kyle Larson, 619 points. That's what he's going into Daytona with. And Carson Hocevar, of course, you see a win there on the 5. That does not matter. Larson's the last one in on points at 619. And you see in the screenshot there, Hocevar has 615. He is 4 points out of the playoffs for that last spot against Larson going into the regular season finale. And I think Hendrick's going to force their hand, and I think they're going to bring Kyle Larson back if they can get him cleared to race for the regular season finale. It is going to be a nail-biter for that and the regular season championship battle. I'll see you guys from Daytona. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.